Welcome to Collective. Thank you for tuning in to our video sermons. We hope that this message has blessed you greatly.
But today I'm not here to talk about my life. I'm here to talk about another woman's life. It's okay if you have not read about her before or you don't know her. We'll go through her story because I believe her story is powerful. And because stories have this ability to change the frame of our thought. So this story is found in John chapter 4. It is the longest recorded conversation between Jesus and any one single person in the entire New Testament. And it is with a woman. So the background was that Jesus had been very busy in a place called Judea. And on his way back, he was on the way to Galilee and he passed by Samaria. Okay, let's read from John chapter 4, verse 5. I'm reading from the Message translation. To get there, he had to pass through Samaria. He came into Sychar, a Samaritan village that bordered the field Jacob had given his son Joseph. Jacob's well was still there. Jesus, worn out by the trip, sat down at the well. It was noon. What time was it? It was noon. We're about to meet our leading lady on the paths of Samaria at high noon. Now, in Roman time, it was 6 o'clock in the evening, but Jewish time, it was 12 noon. While most women went out to draw water in the cool of the morning or late in the evening, this woman went at high noon, the hottest time of the day. We all understand that because at 12 noon, we hate going out because it's so hot. So clearly, she was trying to avoid being seen. Who was she avoiding and why? While I was thinking through this of people that I avoid, I'm sure we have people that we try to avoid. Growing up, it was the discipline teacher, the guru discipline. Then these days, for me, it's the credit card promoters. I'm sorry if that's your job here. I love you. But to me, every time I go to one Utama shopping mall, and every time I pass by a certain area because I want to get to my favorite shop, there's a group of credit card promoters who are always there. And for me, I find it hard to say no, so I try to avoid them. And I try to avoid eye contact. I use all sorts of methods. I try to walk really straight and don't look at them, but I still get targeted. I try to turn around and walk away. They follow me. I try to look them in the eye to tell them I don't want it. They look for me as well. I probably have this face or this look of a victim that I'm those that you got to target, okay? She will say yes. So while the woman gathered for girlfriend time at the well early in the morning, this particular woman waited until they had returned back to their homes in order to go out to draw water. Let's find out why. Verse 7. A woman, a Samaritan, came to draw water. Jesus said, "Would you give me a drink of water?" His disciples had gone to the village to buy food for lunch. Now, Jewish men didn't talk to Samaritan women. And for a Jew to drink from a Samaritan's cup was unheard of, because to drink from a Samaritan's cup would make the Jews unclean. And when I first got married, I went with my husband to Jerusalem. I was this little girl, young and naive. And it was my first time to Jerusalem, of course. Along the way, on a tour group, I saw a Jewish rabbi for the first time in my life. And I got so excited that I left the tour group and walked right up to the Jewish rabbi because I wanted to take a photo with him. I thought it was a special moment. Just as my hand was about to pat him on his arm to ask for a photo, he got shocked and he ran away. He literally ran away. And I was shocked because I thought, what did I do? What did I do wrong? Did I make you sin? Did I sin? And there and then I realized that Jewish men don't talk to Asians too, not just Samaritans. Yeah. And it was a tough lesson to learn. So this Samaritan woman was surprised by Jesus' question. The Samaritan woman in verse 9, it says, taken aback, asked, "How come you, a Jew, are asking me, a Samaritan woman, for a drink?" Jews in those days wouldn't be caught dead talking to Samaritans. Jesus answered, "If you knew the generosity of God and who I am, you would be asking me for a drink, and I would give you fresh, living water." Jesus said, if you knew. When someone asks you that, don't you want to find out more? When your friend come and asks you, hey, do you know that someone broke up? You would ask, who? Why? What happened? So Jesus was asking this woman, if you knew who I am. He was trying to engage her in a conversation and draw her closer to this thing called living water. So what is the living water? Verse 11, let's read on. The woman said, sir, you don't even have a bucket to draw with, and this well is deep. So how are you going to get this living water? Are you a better man than our ancestor Jacob, who dug this well and drank from it, he and his sons and livestock, and passed it down to us? Jesus said, everyone who drinks this water will get thirsty again and again. Anyone who drinks the water I give will never thirst, not ever. The water I give will be an artesian spring within, gushing fountains of endless life. So while she was focused on drawing physical water, Jesus was continually drawing her closer to the living water. This living water would fill the woman with overflowing joy. Now, when we meet Jesus, God awakens our soul and sets us free. He reaches deep into our human soul and always fills it with himself. That is the beauty of God. But our woman at the well wasn't quite sure yet. In verse 15, she said, sir, give me this water so I won't ever get thirsty, won't ever have to come back to this well again. He said, go, call your husband and then come back. I have no husband, she said. That's nicely put. I have no husband. You've had 5 husbands, and the man you're living with now isn't your husband. You spoke the truth there, sure enough. Just when we thought it's coming to an end of the story where Jesus will give her the living water and she will be filled, she'll be overjoyed and will leave that place being set free. But Jesus revealed the story of her life. The secrets of her life was revealed before her. How scary, isn't it, to meet someone for the first time and he knows every single thing about you. I have met people for the first time and they know every single thing about my family. They talk nonstop about Zen and his little antics and his videos, and they say they watch his videos 10 times, 20 times, and they still laugh at it. And they start telling me about his character and his nature, and I find it weird that I have to try and find gap to try and introduce myself as Alexander's mom. And sometimes I forget that because my husband posts his videos all the time, they must have saw it on his Instagram because I don't have one. And in those days, there's no Facebook or Instagram, so there's no way Jesus could have stalked her on social media to find out about all the men that she has been with. We don't know why she had been divorced 5 times. In those days, a man could divorce his wife for any reason, even if she just burnt the bread. It didn't take much, but whatever reasons, this was a woman who had been abused, misused, tossed away by men that she trusted and loved. Her longing for love left her empty, and she made mistakes after mistakes. Man number 1, number 2, number 3, to man number 6. Just one man scares me enough. She went through 6. But Jesus spoke to her of her past without a hint of condemnation. He even praised her for her honesty. If you notice, Jesus always moves the conversation to a personal level when he's about to set someone free. When we come to Christ, we experience him and we encounter him. That experience is always personal. God saved me because I was broken. I feel abandoned. God loved me just as I am. I have an addiction. God set me free. It is always personal. Now, in the next 6 verses, Jesus went on to explain to the woman that God's salvation is made available through the Jews, that one day everyone will worship the same God, even the Samaritans. Verse 25, the woman said, I don't know about that. I do know that the Messiah is coming. When he arrives, we'll get the whole story. She still didn't believe what Jesus had said. Then a moment later, Jesus drops the bomb and he said, in verse 26, I am he. I am he. You don't have to wait any longer or look any further. God said his name is I am to Moses in the Old Testament. when Jesus said, I am, in John chapter 4, verse 26, he was equating himself with God. And never before had Jesus come right out and told someone that he was the Messiah. Never before. This is the first time. And never again until the day of his trial. And yet, to this abused and misused woman who was tossed away by man, Jesus revealed the most important truth of all creation because she was chosen. I'm finishing the story soon. Stay with me, okay? Verse 27. Just then, his disciples came back. They were shocked. They couldn't believe he was talking with that kind of a woman. No one said what they were thinking, but their faces showed it. The woman took the hint and left. In her confusion, she left her water pot. Back in the village, she told the people, come, see a man who knew all about the things I did, who knows me inside and out. Do you think this could be the Messiah? And they went out to see for themselves. And let's look at verse 39. Many of the Samaritans from that village committed themselves to him because of the woman's witness. Because of the woman's witness. He knew all about the things I did. He knows me inside and out. Jesus knew where the woman was going and what she was going to do. Just as he finished teaching, the woman returned with an entire village in tow. The people, an entire village, came to Jesus because of what the woman said. But wait a minute. I thought she was trying to hide from certain people in the town because they were all gossiping about her. They were all laughing at all the men that she's been with. They were looking down at her. That God moment must have been so powerful and so life-changing that she forgotten about her own troubles and went back to the people who first caused her those troubles and brought them to Jesus. God had a plan for this woman. She made some bad choices along the way, but that did not stop God's plan for her. We don't know her name, but Jesus did. He knew everything about her. He knows everything about you. He knows our names, our dreams, even our past mistakes. And yet, he chooses us for specific purposes. In 2 weeks' time, I'm sure you have heard about it a million times by now. As a church, we're about to embark on this journey called Church to Go. We're going to 40 different locations all around Klang Valley to reach our city for Christ. It sounds scary, I know. It sounds scary. It's way easier and more comfortable to just be here and do our usual routines. But Jesus commanded us to go and make a difference. The reason I chose the story of the Samaritan woman was to remind us to have that reckless first faith again. What is reckless? Reckless is daring, adventurous, daredevil, and desperate. This woman was desperate when she met Jesus. She needed to run back home to tell an entire town about what he had done. There's a sense of urgency after she met Jesus. And I've been a Christian all my life, growing up a Christian, and I tend to take this sense of urgency for granted. Until recently, I went to a concert in KL. Someone gave us free tickets, so we went. It was a Laney concert at KL Live. The atmosphere was electrifying. It was just electrifying. I was telling my husband on that night that, look around. I think we're the oldest uncle, auntie here. The rest are just 18-year-olds to 20-year-olds. But that atmosphere was so electrifying that somehow I had a God moment at that place. I know it's weird that in a secular atmosphere, I had a God moment. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't the weed, because, although that place was filled with weed, smelling kids, but it was God. I knew it because of where I am today. And I remember that night, standing there, I began to dream. I thought, what if one day we can pack out KL Live with standing room only and worship God here in an electrifying manner. So because of that, I changed my language. I started talking about KL a lot more. I don't live there. I don't work there. I don't have many friends there. In fact, I don't know many people there except my hairstylist. But one thing I know is KLCD needs Jesus too. KLCD needs Jesus too. And so I decided to volunteer myself to anchor the KL location, and we are meeting at the brand new Ruma Hotel. If you have no place to go, you can hit there. But since anchoring that location on good days, I'm full of faith. Yes, let's do it. Let's pack out this place. On bad days, I'm terrified by that thought. I'm so terrified, I imagine just me alone standing at the Ruma Hotel. But I'm willing to give it a try because I want to feel reckless again. I want to feel how that woman felt being reckless. Church to go is reckless. Church to go is reckless. It is a place for us to meet different individuals with different backgrounds. And I know extroverts would love opportunities like this because they get to meet new people, go to a new place, go for social gatherings, and be the life of the party. I'm not going to ask how many of you are extroverts here today because I know most of you will always identify yourself as the lower denominator, which is the introverts. And I'm not going to ask how many introverts are here today because introverts won't raise their hand. They just don't. They're shy and reserved, and I'm one of them. And because I'm one of you, I want to talk to all of you introverts in this place today. Hello, introverts. We pride ourselves in the fact that we are quiet and reserved, and at most times, shy. So we find it hard to accept the reality of church to go, or even the idea of meeting other people for the first time, because it's beyond our human nature. So we create excuses for ourselves so that we don't have to be a part of it. I know I'm speaking right into some of your hearts right now. But listen to me, introverts. It's because you are quiet and reserved. You know how it feels to walk into a room full of strangers and freeze. You think twice going for social gatherings like church to go. You know how hard it is to strike a conversation with someone because your words are limited and your mind goes blank. And by the time you spend the time forming sentences, you already think twice whether it's worth mentioning it. You know how it feels to sit in a corner while the extroverts do their thing. They talk and they talk and they talk, and the whole world is on them, and you start feeling small. You know how it feels to go through a struggle and yet not know how to seek help because you find it hard to open up. That's us, introverts. But you know what? I want to share a different thought today. I want to put a twist to that thought because that's not how you should live. Introverts, the quiet and reserved people, it's because that's how God made you with this unique characteristic and ability. You're more sensitive to people in your surrounding. You're more aware of them. You can spot a lost and lonely person right away because you know how it feels. You can spot someone who is uncomfortable in a new situation because you know how it feels. You thrive in one-on-one conversation when someone opens up to you because you always listen. You could spot an awkward person trying to fit in because you know how it feels and your heart goes out to him. So it's not just the extroverts. Introverts are equally as important in a church. So when Jesus asks us to go out there and win the lost, everybody can play a part in it. Everyone can play a part in it. You don't have to be afraid anymore because in the big picture, you know just where you could fit in. You know where you could fit in. But the point today is not about you being an extrovert or an introvert because this is not a psychology session. The point is this: however God has created you, He has empowered you. And the power is in you. That power is in you. Christ died for our sins and redeemed us, gave us a new life. And this life that you live now is full of purpose, joy, and peace. You have encountered a miracle in your life. Yes, you have encountered a miracle. So don't just stand there living like defeated Christians, but we should be living like victorious Christians because we serve a mighty God. Don't stand on the fringe looking in and say, hey, you guys go do it. No, don't stand on the fringe. Stand together, united with us as we look out and extend ourselves. You may be new to us. You may have been with us for a while, but have not committed to anything. This is the time we want you to plug right in. We want you to plug right in. To plug right in, because the future is ours to create. The future is ours to create, and the future is yours to create. And you have the power to make change. So will you, all over this room, please stand up with me on your feet today. Tell yourself, you have the power to create change. So all over this place, let's lift up our hands and sing.
Thank you for watching this sermon. If God is impacting your life through this ministry, join us in reaching others by investing today. You can give online or make a direct transfer to the account below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for messages like this. Have a great day.